You know, my friends, there's a category of stories that Jews like to tell called only in Israel stories. And usually those stories are positive, stories of divine intervention or some kind of, quote unquote, holy coincidence, divine coincidence, whatever you call it. This is an only in Israel story that is incredible, and I think in the end it will have a silver lining, but for now it's just, it's amazing. So, you guys probably heard that there's a prosecutor of the IDF, this lady by the name of Yifat Yerushalmi, and she basically, just to give you guys a quick background, she basically released or leaked to the media surveillance tapes of soldiers, IDF soldiers, in like this, like a camp just outside of Gaza where they kept, the terrorist prisoners. And these guys were doing all kinds of stuff with these, literally terrorists, okay? This leakage put all soldiers in danger. It got to a point, I'm going to save you guys the long story short, where this lady resigned. This has recently happened last week, end of last week. Today, it's found out, it became apparent that she drove somewhere to like a beach somewhere, I guess near Tel Aviv, near a cliff, left her car, covered her car, like the things that cover cars from the sun, to block out the sun, wrote some kind of a suicide note, and disappeared. And her phone, whatever, right? Turned the phone off, you couldn't track her. Eventually she reappeared, called her husband, and now I was speaking to a friend of mine, an Israeli friend of mine, who's kind of, follows, he lives in the States, but he follows Israeli news, obviously. He said, he realized what this means, right? She can plead now temporary insanity. And if a person, I guess in Israel, pleads temporary insanity, they cannot, or at least there's going to be a delay in that person having to go appear in court of law, right? He said the positive thing about this whole thing, this whole, in general, right, is now there's going to be an uncovering of all this stuff that was done by the whole legal system, basically, against the army, against soldiers, individuals, because basically the way it works in Israel, and you guys saw probably a few years ago, there was a famous case of Elor Azaria. There's a soldier who, he was doing patrol in Hebron, right, and there was a terrorist with a knife, young Arab guy who was, I think he was neutralized, but then the guy was on the ground, but then there was they weren't sure if he had like a bomb or this or that. Basically, there was a big question what was going on with this guy. He was wearing like a trench coat in the summer. So Azaria came up and he just finished the guy off, right? For that, Azaria got, this is a young guy, Elor Azaria got 1.5 years in prison. So now every soldier, basically, unless he's in some serious battlefield, he has to, consult a lawyer before shooting, right? This is the way it's worked for a very long time. For years and years. So now there's going to be a big, this is according to most Israelis that I've spoken to, normal Israelis, right-wing Israelis, there's going to be a big change just in the system, and they're literally calling it, the Tower of Babel, that is the Israeli justice system, the two-tier justice system, one for lefties, one for right-wing people, normal people, is going to come to an end. So now it might be that they just gut the whole thing after years and years of this, this Israeli, essentially deep state running the whole show, and just hampering soldiers, hampering, fighting terrorism and all the rest of it. As we've seen, guys, we see it, right? They let them out. They have to make sure these guys are pampered. The kind of pampering that goes on for some of these guys in prisons is unheard of, relatively speaking, right? For the stuff that they've done, terrorists, whatever. So yeah, guys, it's incredible when you read about this stuff. It's just incredible, and you realize like, just 1 second, and you realize to what depths, to what extent these people are willing to go. And on top of that, they don't even have any shame. If you call them out on it, all their stuff, all their behavior, all their actions, to them, they're in their minds, right? Just like leftists here, their cause is just. So if your cause is just, then any means is justified, right? Any action is justified, right? And they've been running the show for decades, since the founding of the State of Israel. They've been running the show. And now, my friends, now that Israel, first of all, the demographics of Israel is largely, even if, not everybody's religious, so to speak, or largely traditional, largely right-wing, largely not fruitcake. I'm not talking about sexual orientation. I'm just talking about like mental, psychological, whatever, right? And now everybody's talking about, now there's a TV channel called Channel 14, which is a right-wing, that's the only right-wing channel in Israel. And it's funny, when I talk to Israelis, there's like, whatever, left of center Israelis, right? Even like slightly left of center. You talk to them and they say, oh yeah, Channel 14 is a propaganda channel. Folks, the people who have been watching propaganda for like decades, their whole life, have been convinced that what they're watching is journalism, something that comes and says something that is not, that flies in the face of the propaganda they've been watching, or the thing they've been watching. Of course they're going to say it's propaganda, right? Meanwhile, the majority of Israel agrees with Channel 14, okay? The propaganda is the stuff that's been around. Channel 12, all these other channels, who have been bashing right-wing people, who have been bashing anything to do with Torah. Literally, folks, I mean, like, just bashing. Forget about bashing Haredi people. Anything to do with Torah, anything to do with tradition, anything to do with goodness and Kedusha, and just anything. And just, like, pushing their agenda for years and years and years. At least since the mid-70s. If not before. So, my friends, there's now in Israel, there's a channel, there's a network that not only do they cover all this stuff, right, about what's going on in Israel, in this deep state apparatus, they are not going to let it die. They're not going to let it, simmer down, because these guys were hoping, like this lady when she pulled the shtick, was hoping, oh, it's all going to die down. And according to my Israeli friends, no, it's not going to die down. Why? Because Channel 14 won't allow it to die down. Okay? And now, of course, and they even said, and now, of course, all the other networks are saying, oh, you guys, something along the lines of, the Channel 14 harassed. They harassed her so much, like media harassment, that they drove her to do this desperate thing. Right? Folks, everybody understands what this is. Everybody understands that there's a societal change. Not only even a sea change, but just a structural change now happening in real time in Israel. And my only hope, and this is something I told my Israeli friends who were excited about it, it's one thing to get rid of the old, not only the old guard, but just to, overturn the old, swamp, and then and also to appoint the right people. In this case, one of my friends said they're going to have to go outside, meaning they're going to have to hire, let's say you want to get judges and lawyers and all these people, you're going to have to just go to like regular, laymen, obviously get like talented, intelligent people, but it's going to have to be laymen, people who are completely outside the political echelon, the political ruling class system. This is what's going to have to happen, and it will happen. And that's actually how, that's the thing, folks. That's actually how it should be, because up until now, and I think I mentioned this before, and it was evident during COVID, Israel has not been what's called a for the people, by the people society. They have a ruling class. They have a, like basically aristocratic ruling class. Ruling class. I'm not talking about the lowly MKs, but just like the ruling class, right? These are people who have what's called a Mesorah, right? Perfect example, Gideon Sar. How did Gideon Sar get into politics? His father was David Ben-Gurion's doctor when David Ben-Gurion retired in a place called Sde Boker, right? So Gideon Sar, okay, he's a smart guy. I'm not taking anything away from him, intellectually and talent-wise, but the fact that his father was Ben-Gurion's doctor helped Gideon Sar to become a politician. Period, end of sentence. Okay, that's just one example of many, right? Or you could be a high-tech guy like Bennett and, crawl your way with millions of dollars into those echelons, right? Okay. Another example. So, my friends, for the people, by the people. So, it's one thing to appoint people. Those people have to not only be appointed, they have to do stuff. Because as we see in America, for example, you can appoint everybody from, freaking fracking Timbuktu. But if they don't arrest the right people, if they don't take the right people to task, if they don't, if everybody's still walking around above ground, looking at, feeling the sunshine on their face for all the crimes they did, it doesn't matter if you appoint Joe Schmo from some tiny law office in Ramat Gan, okay, or wherever, right? They have to do a job. They have to take, things to task, people to task, okay? And uncover all the stuff that's been done, and especially all the stuff that actually led up to October 7th, which I won't get into now. So, B'ezrat Hashem, guys, we have a very fast-paced scenario happening in Israel. It was very slow, but now that there's an opportunity, now that we have this supposed respite from this horrible war, now we're going to see the wheels turn against these, the Israeli version of the swamp. And B'ezrat Hashem, my friends, as we know, as goes Israel, so goes everything else. I was watching a comedian today. He said, he goes, I feel like Israel is the COVID test of the world. He goes, when people against the Jews, he goes, I feel like the Jews are the COVID test of the world. People go against the Jews, and then, and then you see basically the where society is at, right? Whether it's America, Europe, wherever, right? So he goes, oh, maybe not. Maybe we just think we're chosen. We just say we're chosen. He goes, and then he goes, I, for one, I don't feel so chosen. I feel pretty regular. Anyway, guys, whether we're chosen, whether we're regular, whether we're regularly chosen, or irregularly chosen, either way, guys, the wheels are turning. It almost seems like Hashem is turning them. And what is it? We always say, Hashem is going to get his way, like Frank likes to say. And Rabbi Kessin, to quote him, the Geula is unstoppable and irrevocable. And he also says, let's see what happens. Okay, guys, Shavua Tov, and I think I'll talk to you a couple times before this election, but if I don't, happy voting.